This is Jarrod Horak, and this is my latest handicapping video. And in this video, I'm going to analyze the Grade 1 Mar Debutante. That race will be run at Mar Saturday, September 9th. Now, if you're interested in checking out my handicapping articles, head on over to todaysracingdigest.com. I wrote a lot of articles covering the Saratoga Summer Meet, the Mar Summer Meet as well. And I'm going to cover this race in written format, and I'm going to go through the pace scenario. I'm going to give out my top contenders first to last and some wagering strategies as well, just like I did in the Pacific Classic. And so if you're interested in checking out that article, it will be available later this week at todaysracingdigest.com. Now let's dive into the analysis of this race because we have a 14-horse field and lots to talk about. The Grade 1 Mar Debutante, $300,000 purse. It'll be race 10 for Saturday, September 9th. 2-year-old fillies traveling 7 furlongs on the main track. 8:59 p.m. Eastern Time is the scheduled post, and it looks like there's a lot of pace. Starting with number 1, Julia's Dream. She'll probably be all over the pace. This is a daughter of Flame Away for trainer Michael McCarthy. Paid $180,000 for her. She went off almost 6-1 in her career debut, and she was impressive. 5-furlong turf race at Mar on August 6th. From post 7 in that 10-horse field, she broke right on top. She went 22-3, 45-3, and she just kicked away, and she won by more than 5 lengths. She was under a hand ride. Edwin Maldonado was aboard. Ricardo Gonzalez is going to get aboard this time. So Maldonado is an aggressive rider. Ricardo Gonzalez is an aggressive rider. Now the key to her is going to be, she'll be on the pace, but can she handle dirt and can she go further? Because now in her first start against winners, she has to switch surfaces and run 2 furlongs further, and she meets other speed. Number 2, Next Right Thing, 30-1 morning line. Emily Ellingwood is the rider, and she rode in the career debut for trainer Ryan Hansen, and she was in the same race as Julia's Dream. And in that 5-furlong turf race from post 10, she stalked outside. She got to within a length of the lead, sitting in second at the 4-furlong mark. And then in the last furlong, she lost some ground. She finished third, beaten a bit more than 5 lengths. But she was a clear third. It was a decent effort. And she has come back with back-to-back bullet workouts. She should be up on the pace, but this is a much tougher spot. She's still a maiden, and we'll see how she can do here at a big price. Pretty Layla is next for trainer Mick Ruiz. This is a daughter of Uncle Mo, and she was 5th in her career debut, an even effort. Hope Road was second there, and that one is in this race. Now, Dua won that one for Bob Baffert. And this filly was 34-1 that day. And she was only beaten a bit less than 3 lengths. And it was an 8-horse field, not a bad effort. Second time out, they stretched her out in distance and moved her over to the turf course. And in a one-mile turf race at Mar on August 19th, she rallied from 7th place to finish second, beaten 3/4 of a length. The pace scenario should be to her liking in here, but she's probably up against it from a class standpoint. A maiden after 2 starts, and her speed ratings are a bit low. Drayden Van Dyke gets aboard for the first time in here. Ricky Gonzalez rode last time. He jumps over to the horse on the inside, as I mentioned earlier. Benedetta is next. 10-1 morning line for trainer Simon Callahan. This is a daughter of City of Light, and they paid $750,000 for this filly. So they thought she was going to be a good one, and in her career debut, she was good. Los Alamitos Racecourse, 5-furlong debut. She was 70 cents on the dollar, 6-horse field. Sharp early speed there. She was able to get out and get clear early. She was 2 lengths up through a quarter in 21-4. Then they went 45-2, and she was still a couple lengths in front, and then she ended up winning by 3 lengths. The clear runner-up, Tambo, was the next out winner. And then Benedetta came back in the Grade 3 Sorrento, and she was less than 2-1 in that 7-horse field. She was the favorite. That was at Mar on August 12th. She stalked from 4th, and then she moved up to 2nd. She could not go with the winner there, and the winner is in this race. But she was more than 7 lengths clear of show finisher Dua. So that was a good effort, and she's taking blinkers off here. Victor Espinoza knows her now for trainer Simon Callahan, and I think she's going to try to work out a decent stalking trip. She earned an okay number, a better number second time out than she did in her debut, and I like that gap from to where the 3rd place finisher was last time. So she definitely ran a quality race. She just wasn't able to catch the winner. Hope Road is next, and she will probably impact the pace, but in her career debut, she rallied from back off the pace. She was last for the first half mile in her career debut. That was that Dua race, and she ended up finishing 2nd, beaten a half length. Hector Barrios was aboard, and then he rode her again second time out, And in her second start, she was able to get out there and set the pace, and she ran a quality race. She just couldn't go with Tamara, who she's meeting here as well, but she was more than 5 lanes clear of the show. That was a solid effort as the favorite. She's 12-1 in here. Tiago Pereira gets aboard, and now she's got some versatility. She can set the pace like she did last time, or she can rally from off the pace. I don't think she's quick enough to set the pace, so they're going to have a different style here. Chatalas is next for trainer Mark Glatt. This is a daughter of Gun Runner, and she was professional in her debut. I thought that was a good, solid effort. From post 8 in a 9-horse field, she was able to stalk outside. Barbara T was the horse that was setting the pace on the inside, and Chatalas was able to run her down. She was stalking from third. She came after that runner in the stretch at 5.5 furlongs, and she was able to win by a half length under Juan Hernandez. He rides back here. Her tactical speed should serve her well in this spot, and at 5-1, if that morning line holds up, she'll offer a little bit of value. Dreamfyre was able to defeat Benedetta last time, so that was the one that Benedetta could not go with in the stretch, but nobody's been able to go with Dreamfyre so far, because in her career debut in a stakes race, a $75,000 stakes race at Pleasanton, she was 11-1 in her debut, and she set the pace, and she just kicked away, and she won by more than 3 lengths. And then last time in that Sorrento Stakes, same thing. She got out there, this time from the inside post. She had post 3 in her debut, and she just broke on top, was clear early, 21-3, just like her opening quarter in her debut was the same thing, 21-3. Then 45 flat last time. She went 44-1 in her debut. She's just been able to run her rivals off their feet in her first 2 starts at 5.5 and 6 furlongs. Now she's going to meet some other speed in here, and this is a much deeper cast, and we'll see how she does. Hector Barrios got aboard last time. He's going to stick with her, and she should be all over the pace. And Pushiness, number 8, should be all over the pace under Umberto Rispoli. This Mike McCarthy filly, Cantharos is the sire, and Empire Maker, the dam sire. And she was really quick. This is a Calbred filly, and she is really quick early. Her career debut, 21-4 opening quarter. She broke right on top from post 7 in a 7-horse field. She was 30 cents on the dollar. Certainly was no secret. Everybody knew she was a runner, and she won by more than 6 lengths in that debut. She was 60 cents on the dollar in the CTBA stakes for Calbred fillies at Dalmar at 5.5 furlongs last time, and she set the pace, and she was able to open up by 3 lengths and stay clear under Rispoli by 1 3/4 lengths. Now, the problem is going to be now she's got to face open company for the first time, and she's got to go another furlong and a half. And maybe she's not the quickest filly on the grounds, because we know she's quick. 22 flat for the opening quarter last time, 21-4 in her debut. But Dreamfyre, back-to-back 21-3s, can really fly early. So Pushiness might not be able to get to the front, but she is drawn outside her main pace rival. Tamara really ran well in her debut. This is a daughter of Bolt d'Oro. Beholder is the dam here. Outstanding pedigree for trainer Richard Mandella. She was 3-1 in her debut, and she ran a good race. From post 1, she stumbled at the start, and then she was able to recover fairly quickly and get a good inside tactical trip. Now, in that race, Hope Road was out there setting the pace all the way, and there were 3 other horses outside of Tamara that were battling in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th around the far turn, and Tamara was inside. And then Mike Smith was able to get her to move to the outside and then come after Hope Road, and she ran Hope Road down and kicked away and won by more than 2 lengths. So that was a very good effort, considering that she stumbled at the start, and Hope Road was the favorite, and she was loose on the lead, but Tamara ran her down nicely, earned a nice late pace rating. That was at 6.5 furlongs. This is 7 furlongs. And then she came back and she worked a 3 furlong bullet at Del Mar, best of 18, 34 and change. That was on September 4th. So she seems well meant in this spot, and she's coming back fairly quickly. August 19th was her debut. This race is September 9th. So Mandella really seems to like her, and she seems to have a lot of ability. We'll see where she fits with these stakes fillies. Where's My Ring is next, and she's 15-1 morning line. Joe Bravo will ride, and she's still a maiden, but she just missed. She was almost 36-1 in her debut, and she sat in mid-pack in a 9-horse field. She had a 1.5 length lead in the stretch, but Laurent ran her down, and she missed by a nose. So that was a heartbreaking loss if you had her at 35-1. They paid $100,000 for this twirling candy filly, and we'll see how she is able to do in the stakes ranks in here while still a maiden, and how strong was her maiden race. It wasn't particularly fast when you're looking at the favorites in this race. Motet is next, and she is 50 to 1 morning line. Abdul Alsagor, a apprentice rider, will ride, but he's not riding with the apprentice bug in this spot. She was 54 to 1 in her debut. That was in the Grade 3 Sorrento Stakes, and she broke slow, and she was fourth, beaten 11 lengths. They must think that this filly has some ability, but it would be nice to see her in a maiden race because she started in the Grade 3 Sorrento. Now she's in the Grade 1 Mar Debutante, so she's yet to face maidens, and she really wasn't a threat in her debut, and she would be a huge surprise in here off of that first start on August 12th. Gate to Paradise is an interesting maiden for trainer John Sheriffs. This is the daughter of Arrogant. They paid $950,000 for this one, and in her career debut, she was in the Chatalas race with Barbara T, as I mentioned, setting the pace, Chatalas running her down. Gate to Paradise ended up sitting in mid-pack and then finishing third, beating a bit less than 5 lengths. So that was a good effort. She had an inside trip. She was 3 to 1, and John Sheriffs doesn't typically fire with his debut runners. He's a patient trainer. He works his horses and runs his horses into shape. And this one, second time out, he's a strong trainer. 29% wins with his second time starters. And the fact that they paid a lot for this one, and then the fact that Sheriffs is confident enough to run her in a stakes race. So he knows that she has ability. He did the same thing with Skinner last year. Now, Skinner was still a maiden, and they ran him in the Grade 1 Del Mar Futurity, and they ended up finishing third there. Then they ran him again in a stakes race in the American Pharaoh Stakes. Then he was off the board, and then he got better this year, breaking his maiden in his first start when they stretched him out. But Gate to Paradise could be one. I certainly want to see this filly stretch out at some point because Arrogant, the sire, more than ready, the dam sire, certainly bred for a longer distance, but I think she can at least hit the board in here at a price. She's 20 to 1, and Kent Desarmer is going to ride. Laurent came from the clouds in her debut. She was 9th, last place after a bad start, 12 lengths back early, and she looked like she was in big trouble in the stretch even, and then she came storming home. She was able to just nip Where's My Ring. I mentioned that one at 35 to 1 in that race. That was at 5.5 furlongs. So she won by a nose under Juan Hernandez. Now, Edwin Maldonado is going to get aboard for the first time here. Trainer Peter Urton having an outstanding summer at Del Mar. Maldonado, solid rider, good sprint rider. He typically rides speed horses very well, but this one's going to probably rally from off the pace. And they paid $185,000 for this filly. Look for her to try to get involved late, and she should get pace help. Cheeky Gal, 30 to 1 morning line, rounds out the field. Peter Miller is the trainer here, and they paid $135,000 for this one. She was the 3 to 2 favorite in her debut at 6 furlongs, and she was solid. She dueled, and she was able to win by a half length. So that was a good, solid effort in the debut, but she's going to be having to do more than just be solid, because in this race, she's going to have to run faster. Her speed figure isn't comparable with the top favorites in this race. Good jockey trainer team with Antonio Frisu, Peter Miller, 5 for 15 together. But I think from that outside post in this field, she's going to be in trouble, especially if she wants to be forwardly placed. So I can see, at least for the exotic purposes, a horse like Laurent getting involved. Gate to Paradise from off the pace. I definitely can see her improving for John Sheriffs. And some of the top contenders in this race, obviously. I can see Benedetta running a decent race, taking blinkers off, stalking the pace. She's stakes placed. She's going to have to get a bit faster for Simon Callahan. Chatalas, certainly one of the top win contenders in here with leading rider Juan Hernandez aboard. I don't think she's going to have any trouble with the added distance. This is a gun runner filly, Indian Charlie, the dam sire. She's right there, I think, at the end. But I'm going to go with Tamara in here. I like her post position, and I really like that professionalism, and I like that trip. I went back and watched that race several times. I was really impressed with that race after she stumbled at the start, and then she was able to ease her way outside. Very professional for such a filly making her career debut. And the inside post can be intimidating as well. So there's a lot to like about Tamara with the pedigree. Richard Mandela, patient trainer, is going to throw her into this stakes race and bring her back rather quickly. He excels with his recent maiden winners, trying winners for the first time. He's having an outstanding summer at Del Mar. Mike Smith riding well at Del Mar, and he does business with Richard Mandela. They're 4 for 12 together recently. So there's a lot to like about this filly. So Tamara's going to be my top choice. And again, go over to todaysracingdigest.com if you want to see the companion article to this video, which I will be posting this week. And again, I'm going to go through the pace scenario more. I'm going to look at the final time ratings. I'm going to give my contenders first to last in this 14-horse field. and give out my wagering strategies. So all that will be at todaysracingdigest.com in my handicapping article for the Del Mar Debutante. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like this horse racing content. And I'm going to be back. And I'm going to be doing the Grade 1 Del Mar Futurity for closing day at Del Mar for my final video this week. And until I see you next time, good luck at the races.